Walking these streets, shadows fall, lost in a world, echoes call, searching for life, voices true, St. James Church in the heart of the blue. Glorify God, nurture all, share the gospel, hear the call. That is what we do at St. James, breaking chains, singing new names, pushing through the night, feeling small, seeking the answers stall, windows of gray, stained with hue, well, mission.
Welcome to our 75th anniversary conversations. I'm here with Mitch and Patty McPherson this morning, and we're discussing their time here. And you guys just recently came back from Florida as well, and
did.
great fishing stories and
Right.
Had a real nice time.
Yep,
Good,
wonderful.
So, how did you guys become members here, and why?
Well, in 2001, I believe we got engaged.
Oh, okay.
And, 2001, I think. Yeah, it was 2001. And we decided we were going to church shop and find a church together.
Okay.
And we went to several of the churches around town. Barry Boyer invited us to a mystery Valentine dinner here at the church, because they used to have those all the time. And we came to it. And then we came, believe the next Sunday to church here and the next Sunday to church here. And we've came ever since. As everyone says, everybody welcomes you and you just feel like it's home. And we've been here ever since.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I think that was around 2001 because we got married in 2002. So I believe that timeline's about right. Yeah. So that's how we started coming here.
So now, what was your faith background before?
I went to a Griffin Methodist church on 38th Street as a young child and as a teenager.
Okay.
And then
I grew up going to a Wesleyan church.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Until I was probably 20, and then I was went to a Christian church some after that, and I was kind of in and out. So,
Okay.
But always had a solid background
Okay.
at church.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you guys have been here quite a while then, like 24 years. So.
Oh, yeah.
That's been-
Yeah.
Mhm,
Yeah. Doesn't seem that way, but
No.
yeah.
Yeah.
So time flies, I guess.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Mhm.
So what positions and what things have you done in the church since you've been here?
Well, I've been with the women's ministry, and then I became over the women's ministry, and I think that was in 2012 after
Okay.
Phil Roselle passed away.
Oh, okay.
Done the Nativity Walk, been on the youth board, was on the youth board for several
okay.
years. A little bit of Vacation Bible School last summer, not much, but a little. Greeters, worked in the nursery. I've got my little list here. At Thanksgiving, I help quite a bit at the Thanksgiving dinner when Margaret needs help, and at the picnic when she needs help. And I think that's about it. My
That's
main
a
thing's
lot.
probably
Yeah.
the women's ministry, events,
I've been involved in the Nativity Walk setup some, and participation, of course, and of
Hey, you're going with the tax collectors, right?
tax collector. Yeah,
You guys
very much
cause all the
enjoyed
trouble
that.
down there,
Yeah,
right?
once I got in the role of tax collecting with Danny and I, and whoever joins us, Ron, the last few years, but we've had a really good time doing the tax collecting, especially with the kids. The kids are so innocent that they come into the room like it's real.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And it's like their innocence. You know, we talked about that in Sunday school this past Sunday about children and,
Right.
you know, but it was, yeah, it's been a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Yeah, it makes you laugh just thinking about it, you
I
know.
know.
It's a lot of fun. So,
You made him laugh and you made him cry.
Yeah.
well, Danny.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good time, but it was all
Yeah.
good. It was all good. I used to be involved in the mystery dinner. I became one of the actors in the mystery dinner
Oh, okay.
theaters, and I really enjoyed that. And it was a lot of fun. We used to have a lot of practices, and just the stage setup and everything about it was a blast. You know, it was just fun stuff.
Yeah.
Of course, we were on the youth board together, and that was when Phil was seemed like he had a hand in a lot of stuff here at the church. You know, our setup was so much different then.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, with him and a pastor, and
Oh, sure.
you know, he took care of education and youth and just a lot of different things. But we enjoyed that. And Sunday server, I've done that for I don't know how long. I've been a Sunday server quite a while. Just recently started doing ushers, probably in the past year, and I've enjoyed being able to help out with that. Helped out with stuff around the church, you know, a little bit with the board of properties and pastimes and stuff. But and then one thing that I did that I really enjoyed, and it was at the time connected, I felt like with the church, was I was president of the Grant County chapter of Thrivent Financial for Lutherans
Oh, yeah,
before it
definitely.
changed.
Oh,
And
yeah.
most of the board members were from here. I think we had one from maybe St. John's Lutheran Church when it was still in existence.
Oh, okay.
But I was president for that for a few terms. Tom Shabo used to be the Thrivent rep, and he got me involved
Right.
in that.
Right.
And, you know, the setup back then was so different. The monies every year would come to us as the
Right.
board, and then we would get people that would request funding. And one of the big ones we did every year was for Don Welton.
Oh,
And Don had a golf scramble that was a big, big event at Mishinga Country Club.
oh, okay.
And I believe, I could be wrong, but his wife could probably confirm this, but I think he raised about $30,000 for this one-day event.
Wow.
And we used to fund some of that through Thrivent Financial. But, you know, back then you had to have an event.
Right.
You had to have a documented reason, the number of participants. It had to be approved by Thrivent. A lot of paperwork. It was just totally different structure than what it is now.
I think that's
Yeah.
pretty similar, though. Yeah.
Well,
It's
yeah.
different.
But
Yeah.
we didn't have the
Different,
chapters
yeah.
because the chapters
Oh.
were all through the state. And we used to
Oh.
have state meetings
Oh.
with the chapters
Oh, okay.
and that type of thing. So that part were the
Yeah.
money, because that we would get about maybe $25,000 to $30,000 depending what was allocated to our chapter. Then that had to be used
To the individual.
to individuals or groups.
Yeah, you still have to have projects, but that is a different structure. But
Yeah.
now they give these $250
Right.
grants to individuals that you
Yeah.
can use, but they don't really have the big state things or any of
Right.
that
Yeah,
anymore.
I enjoyed it though.
And,
We would have,
yeah.
you know, we got together every month, similar to any group like that, and
Sure.
you know, we would go over things, and it was quite rewarding to be able to help these organizations. I think we
Sure.
did Clothes for Kids, and I can't remember what all, but you know,
Right.
a lot of different
Now, was
stuff like
that Thrivent or was that AAL?
Thrivent.
Oh, it was Thrivent.
It's
already.
called Thrivent Financial for
Oh,
Lutherans.
okay.
But they
Okay.
dropped the Financial for Lutherans.
Yeah.
It became a different.
Yeah. Now
I
it's
think it
just
maybe some legalities with the government or something.
yeah. It's Thrivent, and I think they wanted to become basically a nonprofit
Right.
that wasn't
Yeah.
obligated to a
Yeah.
particular domination. Yeah.
But I guess that was about it for me.
Oh,
The things that
that's
I've
a lot,
done through
though.
the years, but yeah, it's been enjoyable. So, and I enjoy serving and being an usher. So,
Yeah, definitely.
yeah.
So, are there any people that have had a big influence on you here?
Well, when Phil Roselle passed, the women's ministry team kind of was no longer. So I went to Pastor Carlson and I asked him if I could start it back up, and he said yes. So Margot Chambers kind of mentored me into when different events came up, and helping me to set those up. And I can remember always saying, you need to delegate. Don't do it all yourself. You need to assign, people different things. And she was a big help to me, during that time of getting familiar with how to do that and everything. And then, other women, there's so many people here. You don't want to say anybody. This whole church is so giving and so loving, and you could ask anybody to do anything and they would do that for you.
Right.
So everybody has a special meaning here, Karen Key and Nyla, just the struggles, health issues and struggles they've been through, and how they are always so upbeat and praise the Lord. And they're two women that I really looked up to. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
I guess a lot of people. I have to give Barry and Rita Boyer kudos for inviting us to come and encouraging us to come to church here.
And he probably had to ask more than once,
Yeah.
But, we were looking at the time,
We weren't set on any place, but we had made a commitment that we wanted to go to church.
Oh, sure.
But it just fit, I guess, coming here. But there's just so many people here, and like she said, there's so many people that are impactful in our church. And I think you mentioned it when you came here that you were used to being a one-man show.
Yeah.
And you found every time you turn around, somebody was doing something.
Yeah. Which is nice.
Yeah.
It really
That's
is.
the way it should be, though, really.
Yeah. And if you're going to expand ministry, it's necessary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's so many people. I could start naming people, but I would feel like I'd be
leave somebody out. Yeah.
missing someone, But a lot of impactful people.
Yeah.
Sure.
So, and we've lost some people that were
have.
very impactful. But
Yeah.
it's good.
Yeah.
So
any interesting stories or anecdotes in the years you've been here?
We're trying to think of stuff, and the one thing that I would have brought up, but Rita's already brought it up. I think one of the funniest things is when she dyed Pastor Carlson's hair permanent, and he walked in that morning and he still had, it didn't wash out, and how mad he was and how really mad Carol was. That was probably one of the, it's funny now. At the time, it was like, I couldn't believe she did that,
Well, it was kind of harmless, I guess.
Yeah.
Well,
but here you go.
Yeah.
So I think that's what, there's
probably been things we can't think of, but we've had a lot of laughs in the background from being involved with the Nativity Walk, of course.
Oh, yeah.
And the mystery dinners.
The mystery dinners, I used to love those, and they were just a lot of fun and
behind the scenes,
a lot of funny stuff, going on when you're in a play like that in front of a bunch of people. And, it just wasn't people from the church. There were people from the community that would come too.
Oh, sure.
People would invite friends and family, and it was a lot of fun. But
yeah, that's probably one of the main things I took out of that was that people from the community came.
Oh, yes.
That.
And Tom and Margaret Smith were just...
I think they wrote the whole play.
They did it.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's just a lot of work. It was
amazing
a lot
amount of work that
yeah.
they did to put this all together.
Yeah.
And a lot of people involved in the church with it, setting it up, and it was just a lot of fun. It just, I guess it just...
I think it was always a mystery dinner, right? And you
it
always
was
solved
always
out who
mystery
the...
dinner. People
was,
had to figure out which one in the play itself had been the murderer through clues. And, we had a dinner involved where you would break for the courses of the meal. And it was a lot of fun. But Tom and Margaret did a great job putting it on, and I really enjoyed the time that it went on. And there were just so many laughs that I just can't remember all of them, One time I was the town crier. I had to do all this hollering out about stuff during the play, and it was just funny, It was a good time, but it was a lot of fun.
So what are some significant changes that you've seen that have impacted you through the years here?
Well, the changes would be about, like everybody else said, pastors, music, daycare, people coming and going, all those different changes.
I guess the time, one of the big changes for us, when Phil passed after that, we didn't hang on to that structure.
Mm.
And it was a big change for me individually, I felt like, because, there were just some pieces missing after that for me that weren't there before, but it was okay. But then when Pastor Carlson left, that time period was pretty significant.
Mm.
And I kind of felt like maybe some people could lose interest, which, like you've heard pastors say that saying, don't come to church because of me, come
Right.
because of God. But
Right.
I think some people struggle with that sometimes, and that was
Sure.
impactful. But, just some of those things were, and the daycare, when the daycare closed. But
Well, just the amount of people that come,
it had to be taken care
Right.
of.
The church used to be packed,
Yeah.
and just like, so that's
Yeah.
a big difference.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and there's been a decline. We had a time period where our youth had declined, but I feel kind of like it's looking like we might be getting a group of younger kids right now that could. And I know those things can transition up and down.
Yeah.
Especially youth can change depending on the body of the church. But
It can.
hopefully that's gonna come back a little bit, maybe.
Yeah, I think so. We've got a great group of young
Kids,
families with kids,
Yeah.
and they seem to be very dedicated to having their kids in church,
Yeah.
and themselves in church. And I think that just builds
Yeah.
on itself.
Yeah.
And hopefully, we continue to do that. But
Yeah.
Very, very much so.
Yep.
So how has St. James impacted your faith?
I think, being with other Christians and worshiping with other Christians, it strengthens your faith and your walk with the Lord, and being in Bible study, going to events, socializing, all that,
Yeah.
all the above.
Looking at the examples of some of the people here in our church, they lead by example in our community and in our church.
Mm-hmm.
And, those are in the public view. And it's impactful to see these people. They're thriving in the community and thriving in our church. And you look up to them.
Right. Yeah, there is a close connection between the church and the community.
Mhm.
That's pretty evident
Yeah.
here. So
Definitely.
Yeah, we have some outstanding church members.
yeah, we do.
Mhm.
So which service do you guys come to?
Second service.
Second service.
Mhm.
So do you prefer the contemporary songs over the hymns, or?
I think I do,
Oh, okay.
but one of the other reasons is we've just always came to that because when we worked, we had to get up so early.
Oh, sure.
We like the
Sure. That is
the
the reason for
later
a lot of
hours, and
people.
I think that's just what
Yeah.
we've always. But I
Yeah.
think we like the contemporary service.
Yeah.
Okay.
We actually had something we needed to go to here a while back, and
We came to the first service.
no, we didn't. We
We said
we had
should have.
something we needed
Yeah.
to be at right
Oh.
after church, and we felt like we were in a rush. And then after we did get to the place we had to be, she made the comment, "Why didn't we go to early service?" And I said,
It's not like we work anymore,
I
so we
said-
have done that easily.
I don't know why we didn't go.
We didn't think that was an
would have
option.
solved our problem about being a rush, and we
Yeah.
just didn't. I guess you get stuck in a groove that you didn't even think about it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But of course, we usually try to get here to see some people that go to early service before
Oh,
Sunday
sure.
school in the morning.
Sure.
But we just didn't even think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like, wow, we could have went to early service and
Mhm.
eliminated that problem. But it was all good. So, yeah.
So, what are your hopes for the future of St. James?
Of course, you'd like to see growth. But I don't know if that's as important as if we just stay as we are, being kind and welcome people that walk through our doors and try to do outreach. And I mean, we're just such a nice congregation. I don't know why we, if we can stay on track,
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody here is just great.
The growth
Right.
thing is always
It's important.
brought up by everyone, but
Right.
I think everyone feels that way, that the growth is important, not just for our church individually, but just for religion as a
Yeah.
whole.
Church in general. Yeah.
But like you've made the comment before, it's really hard to grow without friends and family.
Yeah.
It's tough.
It is big in that. And I think it comes back to what you're saying, that this church is a very kind, loving
We've
community.
been blessed
Yes.
with some random new members that just popped out of nowhere.
Yeah.
You look at someone like Phil, for example. I mean, how in the world?
Yeah, he was
Did
he
he
was
happen?
he was an answer to prayer, because you need certain ingredients in a church, and we did need a good person who understood music, but also from a theological perspective. And
Yeah.
he's a very good organ player, and also a
Yeah.
very good piano player and songwriter, and knows how to lead a praise team, and that's a big thing. And then another thing we probably need now is somebody that's going to do family oriented or youth oriented ministry, that's going to step up and
Yeah.
do that. And we haven't found that person yet, but
Yeah.
we're looking for that person, hopefully not in necessarily at least starting in a paid position, but
Yeah, we had that conversation after Phil had left about a youth minister, and man, it's tough. It's a tough thing.
it is. It's expensive.
There was
For
even
staff
talk at one
members.
time of trying to get somebody that may be somebody going to college,
Yeah.
theology, or someone that might be interested in doing it from year to year
Yeah.
during their college stint or whatnot, maybe as an internship type program or something.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Nothing ever really came of that. It's
Yeah. And
tough to find.
those are hard, because you got this year and you got this this year. I knew one large church that had their youth program run every year by the vicar. Well, the problem is vicars change every year, and
Yep.
one vicar's good at it, one vicar's not good
Right.
at it, and the kids kind of go as a new guy every year.
Get the card you're dealt, right?
Yeah, and so but we're working toward that, and God continues to bless us, and I think part of it is that in that loving environment of the church, that does attract people, because people see that and go, okay, I'd like to be part of that.
Yeah.
And sometimes there's people that are disconnected in the community that want community, and sometimes families that are disconnected in the community that want community. And so, yeah.
One other thing I hope for always, and I think you probably feel the same way, is that our church always sticks to the things that we believe in and our bylaws, and that we're
Right.
not influenced by outside influences. And
Yeah.
with just the way things are in the world. Because
Right.
I feel like sometimes, not to point fingers, but I feel like there are some churches that are swayed by outside influences
Yeah.
in culture and things that go on.
Yeah, there's a tendency to want to be with it, as they used to say, or was it Doonesbury, or I can't remember what, maybe it was Saturday Night Live, the Church of What's Happening Now.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like that.
Keep up with the times.
Yeah.
It becomes maybe a social event.
Yeah, instead of a church, and yeah. And I don't think people are attracted to that so much anymore. I think they're looking for something more solid.
But then I hear some people say things about some churches, well, that type of church is not going to draw in young people. I'm like, okay, well, we're not going to bend.
Right.
So,
Right. Yeah.
you just have to take the blessings when they come, right?
Right. That's what we do.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
So,
So is there anything I didn't ask you, or you thought you wanted to talk about?
no, I don't think there's anything else other than the questions you had, but just want to let you know we appreciate you.
Oh, well, thanks.
We enjoy
And,
having you and your
we enjoy
family
having
here.
you here, and
Oh,
yeah, it's I feel like we get a nice calming effect. Some of the things we went through here, and things went well, I believe.
oh, well, thanks.
So,
I appreciate that.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't like drama, so can't be in drama. I can't take drama. So.
That's good.
It's all good. Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming in. I appreciate
Thank you.
having you guys.
Thanks for having
Thank
us.
you.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for joining us for our 75th anniversary questions, and we'll see you next time. Peace out. You go ahead and turn.
Walking these streets, shadows fall, lost in a world, echoes call, searching for life, voices true, St. James Church in the heart